deaths tonight.
Deaths stand at 23.
Death toll rises to 23. Ebola suspect who escaped from facility tests positive.
Those that can stand should be left.
Building Review Board supports ban of steel, timber, concrete composite method.
They are behaving like managers. You know, leaders, we do things right.
35 unions attack leadership of National Organization of Trade Unions. Leader accused of corruption and abuse of office.
We maintain that our members should stay away.
And in sports, Uganda Sports Press Association condemned violent attack on photojournalist by player. A very good evening to you and welcome to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. In our top story tonight, the death toll of Ebola has now risen to 23 people following the death of 2 more confirmed cases in Mubende district. Ugandans have now been urged to remain vigilant as confirmed Ebola cases continue to rise. A group of Ebola experts from Gulu district have also arrived in Mubende district to help in the fight against the fever. Take a look.
Yesterday, officials from the Ministry of Health announced that 7 Ebola suspects escaped from Mubende Regional Referral Hospital, where they were being monitored. Following their escape, police and other security agencies have been trying to track down the suspected cases to avoid further spread of the disease. Latest reports from the Ministry of Health reveal that one of the 7 suspects who had earlier escaped has been confirmed to be having the virus, while the other 6 have tested negative.
The positive case was returned immediately of a woman who is part of the area affected community. The others tested negative, but this is due to fear. We are working on ensuring that we cancel the affected.
Spokesperson of the Ministry of Health, Emmanuel Ainebiona, who spoke to CTV, has also revealed that the death toll of Ebola has now risen following the death of 2 people.
The deaths stand at 23. Deaths 5 confirmed and 18 probable. In the last 24 hours, we registered 2 new cases and 2 new deaths.
Ministry of Health have also revealed that there is no need for alarm as government tries to find a solution.
We have a lot of measures and we expect the minister will be communicating on that, on vaccines. We expect to have vaccines later, and this is after the meeting we shall have with the WHO and other partners. But now we are focusing on prevention.
Meanwhile, police and the Ministry of Internal Affairs have today come out to caution members of the general public on the dangers of Ebola and urge them to be vigilant.
We want to start by informing the public that the Inspector General of Police has continued to issue very strict guidelines on safety and health to police officers at all stations, reminding them to ensure that while carrying out their policing duties amidst these new threats of the Ebola virus, they should ensure safety and health guidelines at all stations.
We were attacked by Ebola as a country, and that is in parts of Mubende. But as a ministry that deals with very many people coming to look for services there, because in a day we handle about 6,000 to 10,000 clients walking in and out of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. So it is only important that we call upon the public to be cautious as we fight this disease. As a ministry, we pledge to enforce our health measures that have been in place since the COVID-19 outbreak.
Martha Amanya, CTV, PM Edition.
On Thursday this week, the Parliament of Uganda will elect 9 members of Parliament who will represent the country at the East African Legislative Assembly, EALA. Now, many of the members of Parliament have today spoken out on the election criteria as the campaigns intensify. Take a look.
Nomination and verification process of EALA candidates commenced last week, where 28 aspirants were nominated and verified by the Select Committee of Parliament, which was chaired by the Mbarara City South MP, Mwine Mpaka.
But we thank you, Mr. Kaija.
Today, several MPs of Parliament spoke out on the upcoming election and revealed to us the criteria they are going to use to choose the best candidates. According to Asman Basalilwa, the Bujili Municipality MP, he will vote a person who can articulate well issues to do with the regional integration, who will make an impact while legislating.
I know that we are electing representatives to a regional parliament. So my consideration will be based on who articulates a regional agenda. So I want to make a call that all of us be driven by that consideration. We are electing people who are going to make laws with regional impact. So you have somebody who has firm knowledge and exposure in matters of regional integration, in matters of regional policy, and in matters of regional legislation.
Some of the MPs say that they will not consider political parties.
As a person, first of all, I'm not looking at issues of the party. I'm looking at the content. Who are the people who are coming out to seek for my vote? Do I know you well? Do you have a proper background that speaks to what you have been able to accomplish? We would not love even people who are just good at speaking, but without anything that will show that, yes, they performed. Because I can tell you there are people who can speak for you and then you will think this is the best. But when it comes to following the record, you will find nothing.
Of course, we know most of our candidates have political parties which they belong to, and they believe in the ideologies of their political parties. But there are those candidates who are bounded to only represent the political parties which have sent them. In that when he reaches Arusha, even before he thinks of standing in the public interest, he's thinking about what is my party talking about this? What is the party's stand? For that candidate, I'm not going to vote for him.
According to them, they will be selective this round, that only able candidates will be sent to represent Uganda.
We are going to elect credible members who will add up their effort on these 6, such that the nation can have a team that will represent our interests, bargain on our behalf, ensure that protocols that are very important in our interests are taken care of. Trade protocols.
The East African Legislative Assembly sits in Arusha, and all East African community members have to send 9 members to represent them. Sarah Nakandi for CTV, PM Edition.
The National Unity Platform have today rejected claims that the party is in disarray and in chaos over leadership struggles. Now, according to reports in the media, there is a feud between the party president, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, and the leader of opposition, Mathias Mpuuga. The details.
Lots of rumors that fly across this town, perpetrated or orchestrated by people who want to really tear us apart, those who want to slow us down, those that want to see us fail to move in the same direction. We should not let the detractors set the pace for us, okay? And it's not the first time that these rumors come to try and divide us and cause confusion, you know. I meet sometimes some people and they say, Senyonyi, you cannot trust Kyagulanyi. I'm sure Kyagulanyi also meets some people who tell him, Kyagulanyi, you can't trust Senyonyi. Now, if we succeed at looking at each other with mistrust, then we shall not be able to cooperate and do the work that we must do. Parliamentary leadership and, of course, the party generally, we are like Siamese twins, you know, and now some of us belong to both sides. Because I'm a member of parliament here, in parliament I chair a committee, but I'm also the spokesperson of the party. So I belong to both the party headquarters, if you like, secretariat and parliament. Can it be that when I'm here, I'm working as MP, Then when I'm the other side, I'm working as spokesperson against myself here, or that when he's here, he's operating as LOP and working against himself as deputy president of the party. It's not possible, yeah? There are those that will keep flying rumors around to try and disorganize us. We are not going to pay attention to those, you know. Of course, when issues arise, we must see how do we resolve these issues. If there's an issue about a bill, how we should handle it, he's our leader here in Parliament, we sit and agree. Sometimes when we sit to agree how we move, and people here, they are meeting at Kamocha, at Magere, they are meeting to quarrel with the LOP, they are meeting to disagree, they are meeting to fight. So when do we meet to coalesce and agree on our positions here in Parliament, you know? So let's not allow the rumors to cause confusion around.
The National Building Review Board has directed all building committees to look out for substandard buildings and report them in order for action to be taken. The revelation follows a directive by the Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, banning application of the steel timber concrete building method in the construction industry. The method is believed to be faulty and risky for Ugandans.
Yesterday, tragedy befell the people of Luowa in Wakiso district after a building under construction collapsed and killed one person and injuring 2 people. The tragic incident is just one of the many that have occurred for a while now. Last year in September, a 4-storied building collapsed in Chiganda zone in Kisenyi, a Kampala suburb, which led to the death of at least 6 people while injuring scores. In a bid to curb the incidents and to reduce on the incidents, government has gone on to ban the steel timber concrete composite building method. Following the ban, the National Building Review Board have today added their voice on the matter, revealing that the building method, which uses both timber and wood to form a slab, has proven to be a risk factor.
It is a trial for our status. We are still trying it out. We are not sure that it works with the materials we have here. Today we do not have standards for which timber should be used where, and therefore the safety of those buildings cannot be guaranteed.
According to the National Building Review Board, they have visited and assessed over 25 buildings in which the method was applied, but all the buildings failed to pass the compliance test.
And to be exact, what was being done was not to innovate, it was to copy. Because this already exists somewhere. So we want an innovation for our context. How does this method fit here? Where a developer is just going to call the sister to be in charge of the project, something of that sort.
The board has also instructed local authorities' building committees to look out for such buildings and make a report.
We want such buildings to have structural integrity assessments. Those that can stand should be left. Those that are going to need retrofitting should be retrofitted to be safe for public use. Those that are not, that cannot be retrofitted, then we will have no option but to take them down for the good of our nation.
Majority of these buildings are found in the central business district of Kampala and metropolitan areas. The National Building Review Board is mandated by law to oversee, inspect and monitor the operations of building committees and to also determine the fees to be charged by urban and district building committees for approval of plans, issue of building permits and occupational permits. Ramson Mihiri, CTV PM Edition.
Kampala Capital City Authority, UNICEF and the United Nations have started the registration exercise of vulnerable girls in primary schools in Kampala to benefit in a new Cash Plus social protection program. In this program, girls will be given 160,000 shillings to buy scholastic materials. The details.
Many girls, both in rural and urban areas, have dropped out of schools due to lack of sanitary towels and other scholastic materials. This is mainly due to the prevailing poverty situation in the country. Many of these girls often succumb to the pressures of life and parents, which often lead them to marriage before coming of age. To end this surge, Kampala Capital City Authority with its partners such as UNICEF and UN have now decided to kickstart the registration exercise of 1,500 vulnerable girls that could benefit in the new Cash Plus social protection program.
For those girls that are out of school, and for those that are in school, we are in 9 schools in the city. But of course, the numbers stay the same, 750 and 750. And for the cash transfer, when the girls transit eventually into secondary school, because after 2 years, they will be in secondary school.
According to Alan Nakalo from UNICEF Uganda, the move is geared towards enabling girls to remain in schools for a brighter future.
Social protection system in Uganda. This program is a pilot that is really to document, to see how this can be scaled up to many more vulnerable children and adolescents, even beyond Kampala. So KCCA is peer leading this, and we're documenting to see how more social protection interventions can be designed for children in Uganda.
She says they will also move to other areas in case the program succeeds in Kampala.
On the UNICEF side, we wanted to mention that, like Annette said, this program started in 2019, and this was, of course, funded by the European Union. And as of December 2021, we got funding from the Belgian government to scale this program to cover another 1,500 adolescent girls in Kampala.
Although the move has been welcomed by many parents, some of them say the boys should be given equal opportunities.
PM Edition returns shortly with more stories after the break. Welcome back to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. Moving on, 35 trade unions affiliated to National Organization of Trade Union have raised dust over inability of the leadership to move the union forward. According to the unions, their leadership lacks transparency when it comes to issues to do with union funds. The details.
In June this year, 35 trade unions affiliated to National Organization of Trade Unions, NOTU, held a meeting in Masaka City to discuss the issues affecting their body. During the meeting, NOTU was accused of misappropriating union funds, failure to follow rules and guidelines of the union, among others. While addressing journalists today in Kampala, all the representatives of the 35 trade unions affiliated to NOTU have resolved to disband current leadership.
Issues to do with the administration of NOTU. These two must be dealt with because we have got a Secretary General who is also a member of Parliament. He's our brother. We mean no harm. But you see, it is not possible to serve a constituency that is almost 400 kilometers away and at the same time serve NOTU. It's not possible. Because you see, managing trade unions is a very difficult thing. It's not easy. Trade unions are not easy organizations.
Leadership in the NOTU, they have gone out of the culture of the trade unions. They are behaving like managers. You know, leaders, we do things right. But the managers, if you are aware where you work, for them, they do things in the right way. So that is where we have a challenge with the current leadership, doing things like managers at workplaces, while for us as trade unions, we have a culture how we handle issues. So basically the report is good and we are going to use it.
Members say the leadership of NOTU no longer convenes meetings which are stipulated in their constitution.
This meeting that is supposed to be convened must be able to make specific resolutions on what must be done. The other recommendation that the report has made is that issues of accountability must be addressed as a matter of urgency so that we can be able to remedy what has gone wrong.
Come and listen to this report, which I, for one, think is not a bad report because not all conflicts are negative. What I know is that what is in this report, if we used well, because we have ever seen organizations which also have problems, and when they come up with such reports, at the end of the day, they solve their problems and the organization goes on because we are there to present the workers of Uganda.
The Chairman General of NOTU, Wilson Mowere, says as the overseer of the union will soon have a general meeting to announce a way forward.
First of all, I don't have any issue with our affiliates complaining. Yes. And as far as I'm concerned, we have scheduled a meeting on Friday, 30th September 2022.
Yes.
And as Chairman General, my work is to supervise the organization. We have that what we call General Council, where the chairperson, the general secretaries are members.
Yes.
So I will wait for any such report coming in, and then we will make a decision as a general council.
The National Organization of Trade Union will have its annual general meeting on 30th September to resolve the matters. Sharon Twebaze and Chris Semakula for CTV PM Edition.
Switching to matters police, Traffic Police says that it will continue with its crackdown on errant motorists in the ongoing operation countrywide. Police have been arresting and impounding both government and private vehicles that have illegal sirens and flashlights, as well as those flaunting the right-of-way violations. Take a look.
Last week, the traffic and military police embarked on a crackdown on errant motorists who had made it a habit to intentionally flaunt traffic regulations. Government vehicles were among those impounded to deter users from breaking traffic regulations with impunity. While addressing journalists, today at a weekly security briefing, spokesperson of the traffic police, Farida Nampema, revealed that a total of 33 government cars out of 733 cars were impounded and 524 illegal lights were recovered in Kampala.
We had targeted operations that we're doing. And I told you these operations run at the peak hours of the day. So in the targeted operations, we had illegal lights. Those impounded for driving on the road with illegal lights were 524. And those who were arrested for driving careless on the roads were 209. So you see the number. 524 vehicles all had those illegal lights and sirens.
Police say that the operation is still going on, and this time round, they are extending it to lorries and buses that have extra lights which affect the visibility of other drivers.
With the extra lights that affect visibility at night, disconnect them immediately. Disable those lights immediately. We are going to impound your vehicles. They will park till morning, handed over to the IOV.
Funeral service vehicles have also been cautioned to remove the sirens and roof lights, for they do not have a right of way.
All those vehicles that belong to funeral service should remove the sirens and the roof lights immediately. You're making noise for the dead. Which emergency do you have with a dead body?
Police have promised to continue cracking the whip.
For those stubborn drivers still misbehaving on the road, this week we have better measures and tougher ones.
According to the Traffic and Road Safety Act, private vehicles, ministers, army officials, senior government officials, traditional leaders, or commercial institution vehicles do not have this right of way. Tony Patila Humza, CTV, PM Edition.
In our regional news, 3 people have died and scores injured after a 6-story building collapsed in Kiambu, central Kenya. And in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, maize farmers are crying foul. Rescue efforts are underway and emergency workers have managed to pull a child from the rubble after a building collapsed in Kenya. Several others have also been rescued, but sadly some are feared to have succumbed to their injuries, said the Kiambu County Governor, Kimani Wamatangi. Building collapses in Kenya have in the past been blamed on poor structural design or sloppy construction. The cause of this collapse is unclear, but the building was under construction when it came down. Eyewitnesses said it fell on an adjacent building. However, it's not known how many people are still under the debris. The child who was rescued is now being treated in hospital. Soldiers and workers from the Kenya Red Cross and National Youth Service personnel, as well as local volunteers, are all at the scene in Kiambu town, which is about 20 kilometers north of the capital, Nairobi. A field belonging to the Munguiko community has been ravaged by the armyworm and the damage is enormous. The pests attack the leaves and stems of maize plants, leaving them unable to grow or reach the flowering stage. A farmer whose field has been devastated said armyworms attack their fields and appear anytime in the dry season or the rainy season. The pest is of interest to agronomist Jadot Mateso, who has set up a small nursery where maize seedlings are well preserved and then taken to the fields. Madot has urged farmers to plant varieties resistant to the armyworm. In recent years, the pest has devastated maize fields in Uganda, Zambia, and Kenya, among other countries. He said the caterpillar is native to North America. It causes a lot of damage in the fields and production can reduce by upwards of 60%. The consequences are visible in the markets of Goma. The price of maize has risen significantly since production has been down following the appearance of this armyworm. Armyworms are a serious crop pest in tropical and subtropical regions. These hungry caterpillars can defoliate entire fields of crops before moving on in their search for more food, with devastating economic consequences. On the international scene, tragedy in Russia as a gunman opened fire at a school in central Russia, killing at least 13 people and injuring 21, according to Russian officials, while 5 rescue workers in the Philippines have been killed in a typhoon that has left homes flooded and millions without electricity. The details. A gunman has opened fire at a school in central Russia. Victims include 7 children at the school of about 1,000 pupils in the city of Izhevsk. The gunman killed himself at the scene. He was a former pupil of the school. Russian media have posted videos which appear to show panic inside the building where the shooting took place. Some footage shows blood on a classroom floor and a bullet hole in a window with children crouching down underneath desks. Several children and 6 adults were killed, including 2 security guards and 2 teachers, according to Russian officials. Staff and pupils have been evacuated from the school buildings. One local MP said the attacker had been armed with 2 pistols. A video posted online by the investigative committee shows the gunman lying dead on the floor wearing a t-shirt with a Nazi symbol. A mourning period until 29 September has been announced by the head of the region. Russian President Vladimir Putin's spokesperson said he is deeply mourning the attack. Rescue workers in the Philippines have been killed following flash floods. They were washed away in flash floods while carrying out operations in the district of San Miguel, north of the capital Manila. The district was among those hit hard by the typhoon Noru, with some residents seen stranded on their roofs, while others waded through chest-high garbage-strewn waters, attempting to pass on supplies. The typhoon caused gusts of up to 240 kilometers per hour on Luzon, where more than half of the country's 110 million population live. Noru, known locally as Kadeng, first made landfall as a super typhoon, but later weakened at 8:20 local time on Sunday. It's expected to leave the Philippines by Monday evening. In San Vicente, a village in San Miguel, one man was seen futilely trying to brush water away from his door. Another, standing on top of the rooftop of her home, shouted that the country's leaders need to focus on climate change. Floods in the village peaked at around 4 in the morning, and waters are said to be receding. We return shortly with more news from the world of sports.
CTV is now on StarTimes. You can now catch all your favorite programs, our daily comprehensive news bulletins, and so much more on StarTimes channel number 248. Stay tuned for a world of endless possibilities. CTV. Don't blink.
Do you love me?
Very much. I'll catch you one day. Pants down. I want to spoil you. I want you to eat my money.
She believes I'm in love with her guy. Will you go? If I had to live everywhere I'm not loved, where would I end up?
The dirty guy hides in the hospital for 40 years, but at night, he walks the streets, commits crimes, and then he comes back and pretends to be alive again.
I will break you, Spooky.
Do not answer any question about Roho kwa Roho. He's your brain!
Now showing on CTV. Don't blink.
You are still watching CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. In the world of sports, the Uganda Sports Press Association, UWASPA, has today come out to condemn an attack on a photojournalist, Johnson Were, who was covering the Chabazinga Rugby Sevens in Jinja district. The violent incident occurred during a rugby game between Heathens and Corps. Take a look.
Video that has been making rounds on social media shows a rugby player attack a photojournalist covering the event. The incident has sent shockwaves in both the journalism and sports world. The said incident took place at Bugembe Stadium in Jinja during the Chabazinga Rugby Sevens matches over the weekend. In the video, Gabriel Aredo, a Warriors rugby team player, is seen viciously attacking Johnson Were, a photojournalist. The Uganda Sports Press Association USPA have today come out and condemned the actions.
Our members to stay away from rugby games, and this is purely for their own safety, because we don't want what happened to Johnson Were to happen to any other sports journalist out there. So we advise them to stay away from rugby games.
According to the USPA president, Gabriel Aredo's actions were barbaric and unbearable.
What he did is barbaric. I can't waste even a second of my time talking to him.
According to Kenyomozi, the New Vision journalist has since opened up a case with Ginger Road Police.
Case also that he is pursuing, but of course we will support him as an association.
Earlier today, the Uganda Rugby Union, URO, revealed that they will start carrying out an investigation into the matter in order to ascertain the actual cause of the altercation and follow pursuit with strengthened action on the culprits. Following the incident, Warriors Rugby Club have today ordered Gabriel Aredo to step down from all his club duties as investigations continue. Uganda Sports Press Association have welcomed the action taken by Warriors Rugby Club and rubbished the statement released by the Uganda Rugby Union, saying that it did not include any actions that could be taken following the actions that happened. Kevin Kasoma, CTV PM Edition.
To the Heathens, 0.
Thank you, Kevin Kasoma, for that update. We have come to the end of tonight's edition. Thank you for staying tuned in, and thank you for keeping it CTV. But before I leave, a quick reminder, as the Ebola virus continues to spread, let's remember to be more cautious out there. From the entire team, we wish you a good night and be blessed.